The Tesla Model 3 versus the Polestar 2. The old kid versus the new kid. Which is better? Find out in this review. We're going to start this video with age before beauty. Haha, see what I did there? And let's talk about dimensions. The Tesla Model 3 is 4,694 millimeters long, 1,849 millimeters wide, 1,443 millimeters high, with a wheelbase of 2875 millimeters. Whereas the Polestar is basically smaller in every dimension. Its length is 8 centimeters shorter, its width 4.9 centimeters narrower, height is actually 3.6 centimeters taller, and its wheelbase 14 centimeters shorter. And you really do feel that when you're inside the cabin. It's shorter, more compact, and you feel compressed because of the high seal heights. Let's talk about price, and well, can I just say, the numbers on screen now don't mean much because to compare apples to apples, I need to add on Pilot Lite, the Plus pack, and if you go for the long range all-wheel drive, you can also add on the performance. So let's go through those numbers now.
The Polestar 2 and Model 3 are so similarly priced. At this level, you should be going for the Polestar 2. Jumping into the long-range single motor with Pilot and Plus packs is $77,800 compared to the Tesla Model 3 $81,725. But that's got dual motors, so let's do the same in the Polestar 2 and it works out to be $82,800. So again, same. And finally, you can upgrade the long-range all-wheel drive with Pilot Plus and Performance Pack and $1,600 software upgrade, costing $82,900. That gets you 0 to 100 time in 4.4 seconds compared to the Tesla Model 3's of 3.3 seconds. But clearly, is that really worth an extra $10,000?
Warranty on the Tesla Model 3 is 4 years or 80,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. But there's a little bit of an asterisk here, and that is the battery and drive unit has an 8-year or 160,000 warranty, whichever comes first, with 70% retention on battery capacity. The Polestar 2 easily beats Tesla here. It's 5-year unlimited warranty, and that includes 5 years of free roadside assistance, and there's also a 5-year service agreement if you want to, like this thing needs servicing. What? Windscreen fluid? Wipers? I don't know. The Polestar has a lithium-ion battery, and this kind of actually helps me out. But usable battery in the standard range is 67 kilowatt hours, whereas this, the long range, both models, is 75 kilowatt hours usable. The battery under the Tesla Model 3 is a lithium phosphate, and for the standard range plus, it's actually 57.5 kilowatt hours, and for the long range and performance, it too is 75 kilowatt hours. So we'll call that a draw. Polestar 2 range for the single motor is 440 to 474 kilometers, long range 510 to 542, and the dual motor version 455 to 482 because of dual motors. Compare that to the Tesla Model 3, and that's 491 kilometers, 602 and 547 for the performance. But honestly, WLTP cycle is not a good indicator of range, and by using the EV database, those numbers change significantly. In the Model 3, you'll get 380 kilometers with a rated efficiency of 15.1 kilowatt hours per 100 Ks. The long range variant, 485 kilometers, and performance, 460 kilometers, with quite respectable kilowatt hours per 100 Ks. Because the Polestar 2 is heavier, it only gets 385 kilometers for the standard range, 425 for the single motor long range, and 395 kilometers for the dual range. And seeing here, those kilowatt hours, you just can't compete against them. The Polestar 2 comes with a 10 amp 2.3 kilowatt charger with a very generous 7-meter cord. Whereas the Tesla Model 3, with its universal charging port, is actually got very good numbers, like 6 amps up to 32 amps, but realistically it's rated at 15 amps and 2.7 kilowatts. So you're gonna get more kilometers per hour at home compared to the Polestar 2. Storage in the Polestar 2 is almost similar, but not quite. This frunk is only 35 litres, but it actually looks bigger compared to the Tesla Model 3. The frunk in the Model 3 is 88 litres, a full 50 plus litres larger, so getting that, I don't know, groceries in there or an overnight bag or some stinky food, yeah, it's an excellent choice. With the seats up, the Tesla has 425 litres. Put the seats down, that increases to 1,235. Polestar 2, 405 litres with the seats up, and then down, 1,095. Total capacity for the Polestar is 1,130, whereas in the Tesla Model 3, more than 1,200 litres. Cameras to support autopilot and Sentry mode, stuff the Polestar 2 doesn't have by the way, are provided by no less than 8 cameras on the Tesla versus just 5 on the Polestar 2. Unlike the Tesla Model 3, you can actually have Polestar install a tow bar on this thing. There's electrical and retracts in and out, very trendy. 750 to 1,500 kilograms braked. And yeah, $2,800, thank you very much. Whereas the Tesla Model 3 is rated at 750 kilograms unbraked or 1,000 kilograms braked. But if you want Tesla to install it, no, just go somewhere else and probably save yourself a bit of money. Top speed in the Polestar 2 is 160 k's no matter what version you get. Whereas in the Tesla Model 3, the entry level gets you up to 225 k's per hour, 233 or 261 kilometers per hour, which makes the Tesla easily the winner here. To achieve those higher speeds, the Tesla Model 3 has power rated at 293 kilowatts or 420 newton meters for the entry level, 324 kilowatts or 493 for the dual motor long range, and performance 413 kilowatts or 660 newton meters of torque. Power and performance is important because in the single motor standard range and long range, kilowatts are rated at 170 and 330 newton meters of torque, whereas in the dual motor version, it bumps up to 300 kilowatts of power and 660 newton meters of torque. That translates over to a 0 to 100 time in the single motor standard range and long range of 7.4 seconds each. That is to say they're equal. Whereas in the dual motor, that it reduces to 4.7 seconds, nicely within range of the Tesla Model 3 long range. The HVAC system in the Polestar 2 is, well, on the entry-level model, a bog standard sort of thing. But if you go for the Plus pack, you actually get the heat pump, just like you do in the Tesla Model 3. Seats in the Model 3 are heated both front and rear, and the front seats are fully electric, but no lumbar support. Whereas in the Polestar 2, the seats for the entry-level model are kind of electric. I don't know what that looks like, by the way, because this has got the Plus pack, which makes them fully electric, including 4-way lumbar adjustment. And like in the Tesla, the front seats as well as the back seats are fully heated. The speaker system in the Polestar 2 is a premium 8-speaker system for the entry-level model, but if you go for the Plus pack, it gets bumped up to a 13-speaker, including subwoofer, Harman Kardon system, and it sounds amazing. Speaker systems in Teslas are custom and no brand, so in the entry-level versions there's 8 speakers no less, but then on the premium interior you get 13 including a subwoofer and 2 amplifiers. I will argue that the sound in both is very equal, perhaps a little bit better. I think I'm being very subjective here in the Polestar 2. Apps in the Polestar 2 are kind of half-baked, to be honest. You've got this terrible arcade game that pales in comparison as to what Tesla is doing. You don't have Netflix, you do not have YouTube, and the App Store is very limited, and that's because, well, just go check out this story up here and you'll understand why. Apps and fun and just the whole experience of Tesla's ecosystem here is where it easily beats, I say, every car maker, let alone the Polestar 2. Yeah, you've got Netflix, you've got YouTube, you've got arcade games, arcade quality games, not just 8-bit, 16-bit versions, no, real McGoy things. Voice assistant, because it is Google, is excellent, and let me just give you a demonstration. Navigate to Chatty.
Before you can reference your father, you'll need to tell me who he is.
That's an outtake, that's an
Remember my
outtake, shush.
father.
Alright. Navigate to Chatty.
Before you can reference your father, you'll need to tell
It's Chatty! It says Chatty down there too. This is hilarious. Is it because...
Navigating to Chadston, the fashion capital.
That was the 3rd time. That's going in the video. Voice control in Teslas I've found has always been bad. And let me just see if I can repeat the experience that I had over in the Polestar 2 today. Navigate to Chatty. It says navigating to Teddy. It's wrong. Navigate to Chatty. Now it says Chatty. Navigate to Chadston Shopping Centre.
12 seconds later.
Yay, did it. Hey, 3rd time's the charm today. Unlike the Tesla Model 3, this has only got 4 USB-C ports. USB ports in the Tesla Model 3 are 4 of them, and there's 2 down here in the cubby and 2 in the rear, plus also actually a bonus one that's a 5th full Sentry mode, which the Polestar 2 doesn't currently do. Autopilot or pilot assist, whatever you want to call this, in the Polestar 2 is at best okay. It's lane centering, it's radar cruise control, it vibrates the steering wheel when it disengages, unlike the sound you get in the Tesla. What I prefer, you know what I prefer, Tesla. With lane centering and radar cruise control, Tesla's autopilot is the one to beat no matter what car you are, let alone the Polestar 2. It will go around corners very nicely, it will follow cars lovely, and the disengagements and all the nag factor, yeah, it's here, but it's way more prevalent in the Polestar 2. And yeah, until anyone can beat Tesla in this space, they're still the market leader. I've reviewed the Tesla Model 3 previously, and so I'm going to focus more on the Polestar 2 and compare where necessary. Both are great and handle well under most driving conditions. The Polestar 2 doesn't have any special modes like chill, normal or sport. Instead, you get steady, linear acceleration that feels underwhelming in the front-wheel drive version. You can put it into sports mode, disabling electronic stability control, but in day-to-day driving, it doesn't do much except encourage wheel spin. Like the Tesla, steering weight and adjustments are here, and brake feel is very similar in both, that is, heavy. But at least underfoot, pedal feedback and travel is better in the Polestar. Both cars sport one-pedal driving, and this is where you won't even bother using the brakes, or notice how average they feel, because both cars will slow using regen and mixed braking to bring the car to a complete stop. Finally, the Polestar 2 has, in my opinion, suspension that is more taut and refined compared to the Model 3. Are either good on track days or on twisty mountain roads? Perhaps in performance spec? But otherwise, the ride and handling in the Polestar 2 is just slightly better than the Model 3. And the winner is the Tesla Model 3. Of course it is. Why? Well, because of the Tesla Autopilot, better efficiency and range, and the supercharger network. I prefer maybe the look of this car, and particularly the interior. I definitely prefer it on this car. It's more feature rich, sort of, but no, you've got the lovely awesomeness that is Tesla with Netflix, YouTube, and all the other shenanigans. It might change over time. I would like to see some improvements insofar as range and efficiency on this car, and also maybe a Polestar, maybe. Can you build out your own supercharging network? That'd be awesome. All right, so if you have enjoyed this content, please maybe consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. If you want to see behind the scenes, get access to news, polls, and stuff that you just don't get here on YouTube, join me on Patreon, where you get all this and a lot more from as little as $2.50 per month. And otherwise, you be good and you be green.